Now, so yeah, in the previous session we have discussed about the final keyword and how do we use final keyword in three ways. So what are that? Like final keyword can be used to create uh, constants, means final variables, and final keyword can be used to create final methods, and final keyword can be used to create final classes. So in these three ways we can create the final keyword in Java. And when we create a variable as a final variable, then the value once assigned to that variable cannot be changed. That's why we can call it as constant. And the method that has been declared as a final cannot be overridden. That's why so final methods, if we define, we cannot override it in child classes, any final method. In the similar way, if we make a class as final class, then that class cannot be inherited by any child class. So this is our final keyword at a high level, and we have seen the example demonstration here, example also here, means description here. Now what we need to do, we need to create or let us create a simple program to demonstrate this final keyword. So how final keyword is restricting a variable to be initialized, or a very method is a method from overriding and a class from inheritance. So final keyword stops the variable value assignment, final keyword stops the method overriding, and final keyword stops the class inheritance. These points we need to remember, guys. So now let us create a class, public class final demo. Final demo dot Java. But in this final demo, what else we need to have? Let us take the inheritance example. Why we need overriding and inheritance also, right? A person class and employee class, or person and student class, we take those two classes, we take from our uh, other examples, inheritance examples. So here in under inheritance, okay, employee we can take and person we can take. These two let us take into our folder. Now let us say person. In the person, if I say private int max age or max age, if I write like this, maximum age for a person, how it would be, like 25, sorry, 100 years, right? More than 100 years in general. uh, the general standard of max age for any person is 100 years. It will not be more than that. So in that case, what we can do, we want to initialize this variable at the time of declaration itself. Why? We know that always this variable value is 100 only, max age value is 100 only. In that case, we can create like this. So if we are creating like this by mistake, accidentally from anywhere else, this max age should not be modified in our program. So in that case, to prevent that accidental modifications of a variable throughout our program, what we can say, we can declare that variable as final. We can declare that variable as final, so that the variable value will be fixed to the value that we have given here in the declaration itself. So in this way, the variable can be defined as a final variable to have fixed value, non-modifiable value throughout the application. Such values we can call, such variables we can call as constants. Such variables we can call as constants. Why? Because the value once assigned to this variable cannot be changed. It is fixed, right? So we can call it as constant. We can call it as constant. So in this way, we can define. Is it clear, guys? How do we create constant variables? Even if we take employee class, in employee class, mm, as an employee, if anybody wants to join as an employee, there would be some minimal age restriction for employee, right? So in that case, how we can write? Let's define this or as public, private, private. In the similar way, another example, what we can write: private int min age, minimum age for employee. What should be the minimum age for employee, for any employee? Let us say 21 years should be the minimum age. Like this we can give. In that case, we can define it as final. We can define it as final, like so. Here what you can say, you can define system.out.println minimum age requirement. Minimum age requirement is in age. Like this we can take. So in the similar way, in person, we can display the maximum age. System.out.println maximum age limit. Max age. Like this, we can define the uh, constants in our Java applications using final keyword. Is it clear, guys? Final keyword and final keyword, how can we use with variables? Now, how to use these person class and employee class objects here? You can say public static void main string args here person p equals to new person. In the similar way, employee emp equals to new employee, right? Then emp p dot set details. Kishore 28 m can view, and emp dot set details Pallavi 32 F, then what we need to give age, gender, then int I, ID, double S, salary. ID, we can say 1001 as ID, salary 25K. Now display the details. P dot show details and emp dot show details. We can write both of them. We can write now. Let us open the command prompt from here and then run the program. Set path. Path to C colon program files Java JDK. We need to set until bin, right? Bin. Now Java C final demo.java. So it's giving error. Why? Cannot find symbol. P dot set details. P dot show details. What are there here? Like set person details, right? So that's why it is giving you error. Okay, let's make it as P dot set details, show details here, and make these methods also like public. And in employee also, how we have set employee details, show employee details we have. Let's make them also as set details, show details. So set details, show details. Now compile it, show person. Okay. In employee, I am saying set person details and show person details. Here also I should change, right? Now run the program. Java final demo. So it is going recursively. To stop this error, what we should do, guys? It is recursively calling show details. To stop this issue, to resolve this issue, what we need to do? Yeah, guys, we did the same. Uh, we have seen the same issue, right? And we have resolved it also. What we need to do to resolve this problem? What is the problem? It is calling the show details on employee class itself. So it is going for recursive method call. So to resolve it, actually here what we need, we want to call it from parent, right? So what we should use? Super keyword, right? Yeah. Need to remember, guys, language basics, right? Okay. Okay, fine. Now compile it and run it. It will work now. Now what we require, if you observe here, maximum age limit 100 automatically for every class it will come, and the minimum age requirement for employee object, it is 21. It will be fixed. Now if I try to modify that value, if I try to modify that values, final values here in employee class, min age, if I say 40, or in person class, if I say max age like 1110, 110. So now what happens? Let us see. If we try to compile it, it will give you error. First, cannot assign a value to a variable max age 110, right? So where we are assigning person.java line number 11. So here this one, right? So this is not allowed. It is compilation error. So why we can say it is not allowed because final variable cannot be assigned with a modifying value. Always whatever it is initialized with, the value is fixed. We cannot assign again here in this. Is it clear? In the similar way, now if I try to compile and run, what happens is final demo. It is not recompiling that, I think. So Java C employee dot Java. Final demo, compile it and run the final demo. Think, okay, we have not saved it employee. That's why it is compiling and giving without giving any error. It is working. See, employee we were not saved it. That's why it was accepting. Once it is declared as final, we cannot reassign a value. So the same comment we can write. So in any class, anywhere, you cannot change. So once it is initialized, you cannot change it. So in this way we can. But with the final variable, what you can do, if you are not giving the value here, at least you need to initialize. So here max is, if you are not giving the value, or min is you are not giving the value, then what will be there by default? 0 will be there. Even though if you are not initializing there, and directly if you are trying to assign the value or initialize the value in set details as fixed value, then what happens? You check. It will give you error in both the places. So final variable is final only. If you don't assign the value, then it will be initialized to default values. It will be initialized to default values, and it will take the default value as 0 based on the data type here int. So it will take a 0. If it is double, it will take a 0.0, like that it will take. So now final variable I have not initialized, but now I am trying to print. Then what happens? I'm not initialized and I am not assigning the value also. So it will compile now. Max is not initialized in the default constructor. So if you are not initializing, then at least what you need to do, you need to initialize it inside the default constructor private final int max age. So this would be the constraint in case you are defining the final variables. You have to initialize them at the time of declaration itself here itself. Otherwise, you need to declare them in the default constructor. So how you should do public employee here, what you can say, min age equals to 14. To work, what is the as per labor law, what is the minimum age, the requirement, that is 14 years should be completed. In the similar way, public person create a default constructor, and inside that default constructor initialize the final variable like this. Okay. Save employee, save person. Now if I compile, it will be compiled, and if I run, I will get the same values like 114. In this way, final variables, so we need to create and use, guys. Is it clear, guys? Yeah, Shishir, Sai, final variables to restrictions ఏవేవి ఉన్నాయి, rules ఏవి ఉన్నాయి?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, very good. Now, what we need to see, final methods. Final methods means what? What is the description that we have about final methods? If I say a method is declared as final, then that method cannot be overridden. Means show details method usually we are defining in person class and later overriding in subclass in the of the person, like employee class or student class or teacher class. But now if we declare it as final, then we cannot override it. We cannot override it in subclasses. So that means what? If I declare this show details as final, now what happens? I am overriding this show details in employee class or not? Same method name, same parameters of similar to parent class, right? So now if I try to compile it, Java C employee dot Java. So what it is saying, in employee cannot override show details in person because overridden method is final. Is it clear, guys? If you declare a method as final, it will stop the overriding of the methods. Clear? Yeah, very good. Now, in the similar way, now if I declare class as final, then what happens? Final classes will be restricted from inheritance, right? Means cannot be extended by employee class. So here if I say employee class, what it is saying, cannot inherit from final person, public class employee extends person. And in the similar way, employee cannot override show details in person because it is final. Like this, the inheritance also will be restricted and overriding also will be restricted. If you say the method as final, overriding will be restricted. If you say the class as final, inheritance will be restricted. Is it clear, guys? Yeah. So this is about final keyword. Okay. So today we pass here. Tomorrow we'll start with the static keywords. Okay, guys. Tomorrow static keyword, and after that we'll start with interfaces. Okay. Yeah. Once again, go through the videos and try to remember the points. Whatever I am stressing more and more in overriding parent class reference, child class object. That is very important concept, guys. You should remember the restrictions and all. Okay. See the videos again and again and try to remember all the points whatever I am stressing there. Now we have discussed about a parent class reference referring to subclass object, right? So how the restrictions and rules are there that you need to remember, that are very important. Okay. Yeah. Okay, guys. Bye. Let's continue tomorrow with the static keyword.
Fine.
Yeah. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Welcome.